The following sponsors support public television and Hello Paradise.
At Indian Wells, tennis is just the beginning. There's abundant sunshine and all the golf and amenities you could ever desire. It's closer than you think. Indian Wells, California.
Dr. Calabria, a board-certified plastic surgeon specializing in minimally invasive facial plastic surgery with offices in Rancho Mirage, Beverly Hills, and Milan. Dr. Calabria supports public television.
Los Arboles Hotel, located in the Palm Springs Historic Movie Colony District. Tiled-floored rooms, a courtyard pool, jacuzzi, event spaces, and El Mirasol Cocina Mexicana restaurant. LosArbolesHotel.com.
Information about desert hotels, golf, restaurants, and attractions can be found at PalmSpringsVacationDiscounts.com.
We've brought you to the beautiful Mission Inn in Riverside, and no doubt you have passed this when you've been on the 91 freeway, and you might have thought this is an actual mission. But the real story is much more interesting than that. It is historic and it's gorgeous. It's also home base for this week's Hello Paradise. With Oliver Unaka, the marketing director at the Mission Inn, and you were telling me that this courtyard turns 100 years old this year.
It does. We celebrate the Spanish Patio Centennial this year. It turns a whopping 100 years old.
And so many famous footsteps have come through here. Teddy Roosevelt, JFK.
Barbara Streisand, her husband, a number of individuals have frequented the Mission Inn Hotel and Spa.
Are the rooms comfy?
The rooms are extremely comfortable.
And the spa?
The spa, you will love the Tuscan-inspired spa, which, as a matter of fact, turns 10 years this year.
And now from the beautiful Mission Inn in Riverside, we head back to the desert for our Desert Cities Report.
Here he is to talk about his latest project, singer, songwriter, musician, DJ, man of many talents, Jimmy Fitz.
Quick, slow, everybody's in the know. Quick to get angry, quick to complain.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fitz. I'm here at 17th Street Recording in Costa Mesa, California. Excited about finishing up my new album, which has been a labor of love all year. We're coming down the home stretch. You know, as a musician, you never stop writing and recording. It's what we do, you know, and you don't do it just to release an album necessarily. This album is something that we got into a creative flow and have discovered a sound that we're getting great feedback on that feels really raw and organic to me, and that's why I want to put this album out. Album's being produced by myself, Ronnie King, and Louis Richards. Louis has worked with the Dirty Heads, Sublime, got the list of credits a mile long. Ronnie King goes back to Tupac Shakur days, Mariah Carey, The Offspring. He produces a lot of acts, and we got a great team, a lot of love and a lot of talent. My wife, Wendy, Wendy goes by W.J. Renee, and she's been with me for so long. She knows my delivery, she knows how I sing, she knows my thoughts, and she's been such a great collaborator writing and has contributed so much to this album. She really has a feel and a knack for writing for me, and I think that's been a very special gift throughout the entire project. Got a great talented group of players who have been with us all year on this album, and excited to have them.
I'm Francis Cronin, I play bass.
Hi, my name is Patrick Gene Bostrom. I play guitar.
My name's Steve Monroe, I play the drums, and today we are working on Fitz's new project at the 17th Street Studios.
The record's coming out really well. I mean, we're working really hard on it. We basically putting together as much material as we can, and the songs are just coming organically, and we're just having a good time.
It's been going great. Jimmy's a passionate, very professional individual who's a consummate artist, so it's been going really, really well.
Jimmy's a great guy, and he's got a lot to say. I mean, there's a lot of passion behind his lyrics and his songs.
It's really refreshing to work with someone like this.
Don't go wasting my champagne.
Looking to go out there and hit it and take the music to the people, you know, spread the love and expose this music, go out and have some fun and tour the country and take it to the world. I started playing music when I was a teenager. I got into radio when I was young. I've worn many different hats in the business. I love the entertainment business. I've been so blessed to be inspired and motivated and worked with a lot of very big people throughout my career. And I'm very blessed to want to do it now and excited about what the future is going to bring.
Here we are back at the historic Mission Inn in Riverside, home base for this week's Hello Paradise. And behind me is a plaque that harkens back from the very early days, and it's welcoming the guests to the Mission Inn in Spanish. Tell us the fascinating history of how the Mission Inn came to be.
The fascinating history is it started as a small structure that's no longer here. The original owner, Frank Miller, built this amazing property around it. It was built after the Mission style, but it is not technically a Mission. This property is a historical gem, and the maintenance and upkeep is incredible. Both Dwayne and Kelly Roberts have a very sincere passion of maintaining the historical significance, but making sure that the current amenities are up to par for our contemporary guests.
The place is gorgeous and the food is spectacular. The Mission Inn has everything. But let's see what we're doing this week on Eat, Drink, and Be Merry.
Hi, I'm Alex Gomez, and if you've been to Rome, you've been to the Piazza Trilusa. And here in Cathedral City, we have the Piazza Trilusa Ristorante, which is bringing a little bit of Rome to the desert. Let's talk to Pablo. Pablo, tell us a little bit about how you were able to bring a little bit of Rome here.
Well, as you can see we have some great murals and paintings in the restaurant, and we keep those nice warm colors in the restaurant, and obviously our great Italian dishes help us a lot in doing that. So.
Very great. Now, I also noticed that a lot of the base here is very, very fresh. The food, the ingredients, the herbs and spices. How have you been able to accomplish that?
Well, absolutely. Chef Oscar back there and his other cooks do a good job and make everything fresh daily, especially our sauce, which is our tomato sauce that's based for everything that we do pretty much here. You find it on our chicken parmigiana, you find it on our different pasta dishes, and like I said, everything is done fresh and on a daily basis.
Now, I also noticed that you have a great nightlife, happy hour here. You got a lot of locals here.
No, absolutely. A lot of local people already knows us here, and they love our traditional food and the value that we offer them. In the menu, you'll see stuff like our pizzas, different pastas, shrimp scampi. And obviously great traditional wines that we carry also. And, at a good value and a good price.
The food here is literally like taking a tour of Rome and parts of Italy as well. Trilussa in Cathedral City, it's fabulous food. I can't wait to sink my teeth into it.
Boy, that was interesting. I mean, the history of this place is just spectacular. To hear another interesting story, we're going to check in and see who our featured interview is. At the Ingleside Inn at Melvin's Restaurant, and tonight there's a wonderful speaker series with Joel Douglas, and he's the producer of so many well-known movies like Romancing the Stone and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's so great of you to talk to us before you go out and talk to all of them over at Melvin's.
Well, it's great to be listening to you.
Well, you're fascinating because you just did a story and you talked about having the showbiz family and how there were two important rules. One was don't compete in the family, and the other is don't believe your own press. How important is that?
Well, it's very important, actually. I mean, it's part of 4 kind of credos that I go by. You run the show doesn't run you. Don't believe your own press is a big one. I mean, and it's been a downfall for so many in this town when the ego takes over the work.
But isn't that hard? I mean, we all want to compete with our siblings. That's just what we do.
Well, we do with sports. We do with non-competitive life things. I'm not speaking about siblings are natural, competitors growing up. But I made an early on decision to support. I am I call myself proudly a backroom boy. I do the numbers. I do the support strategy. To making a film. And it's much healthier. I saw Mike, he competed, obviously, with Dad. He was known as Kirk's son, I think right up to the Jewel of the Nile series. He had done 10 films already.
And was that difficult for him? Must have been.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's difficult, on all counts, outside and in. I mean, you're constantly questioning yourself. You're constantly being compared, to another actor. It's very difficult, and I've seen so often where it becomes counterproductive, and the kids go, off the end.
Now, your relationship, of course, with your brother and father is very, very good.
Yesterday, like with most parents and everything.
You take it one day at a time. Is that how it goes? Or?
Well, no. I tease him a lot now. Dad is, finally. It took 95 years. He has reached a mellow point. Well, not quite a mellow point because he just finished a new book, I Am Spartacus, which is just coming out, and he'll probably be looking around tomorrow for his next gig. Mike he was here in town doing the Liberace, the Candelabra show. And here, he's doing literally 5 shows back to back.
Amazing.
We're going to do, I said, for an old guy, you're incredible, Mike. We're going to be doing a picture together in New Mexico later September. And
what about his wife? Will she be involved with that as well?
Our wives are always involved.
To some extent.
We move as a unit, as a family.
Your beautiful
You know?
wife is here, and she's off to the side, and what a lovely woman she is. Your sister-in-law, Catherine Zeta-Jones, how do you get along with her? Do you all go out and double date, you and your wife, and Michael and his wife?
Well, it's difficult when one's on the East Coast, the other's on the
Yeah.
West Coast. I'm 100 miles out of LA.
But when he comes out here, do you get together?
Well, sure. He stayed at my place while he shot in the Liberace, and we had a great weekend together. So the moments become much more valuable, much more meaningful.
As you get older, yeah.
Sure. And I just was up in Vegas with him on his new show with Morgan Freeman and Bobby De Niro, and so we had time 3 days up there, 4 days up there, and so we grab it where we can.
Well, of course, now one of the most famous shows that you both have worked on is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and you guys chose somebody who was so brilliant, of course, Jack Nicholson, the most brilliant actor out there, who was funny, and you needed to be funny to carry off that role.
Well, it was an incredible combination. A bunch of out-of-work New York actors,
Yeah.
like Danny DeVito and Chris
Yeah.
Lloyd and Billy Redfield and whatnot. And I remember when, the picture was originally a $3.5 million picture, which was, wow. In those days, we were big time. And then Mike called me about 6 weeks before shooting and said, "We got Jack Nicholson." And I said, "Oh my God, we're at $4.5 million. I don't know what we're going to do." But it shows you how things have changed.
But it was worth it, wasn't it?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
It's still grossing.
Yeah, it's still grossing.
Picture,
one of the greatest films of all time.
40 years later, it's still grossing.
And you love Danny DeVito, you guys love to work with him.
Sure. We started, actually Dad was the first one who started with Danny on a picture called Scallywag, which was a pirate picture. That was the first picture Danny did. And then he did Cuckoo's Nest immediately after. And then from that Taxi, off it went. No, we've known Danny for 40 years.
Well, we know you have to go. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Here we are back at the historic Mission Inn in Riverside, home base for this week's Hello Paradise. This is Gail Anderson, one of the many docents here. You are just a wealth of knowledge. You were telling me that the citrus industry of California has the Mission Inn to thank.
Yes, it does. Local resident Eliza Tibbetts obtained 2 Washington navel orange trees from a friend of hers in the Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C., and that started our citrus industry here. Without Frank Miller's help in extending that, he actually had President Roosevelt at the time transplanting one of the parent navel orange trees here at the Mission Inn.
Teddy Roosevelt actually transplanted it here. Is it here today?
No, ma'am. It survived for 20 years, and Frank Miller actually recycled some of the branches of the original parent navel orange trees. We have still one here in Riverside at one of the local corners on Magnolia here.
So those are the 2 original trees to start out the whole industry?
Correct. And that started the whole industry of our orange industry here in Riverside.
And you called it something very cute before. Tell us what you called it.
We call it the second gold rush, or I do, at least.
That's very clever. The second gold rush. I love it. So, Oliver, this is the famous Casey's Cupcakes.
This is the famous Casey's Cupcakes.
Would you believe I actually saw that episode where she won the Cupcake Wars?
No, we're very proud of Casey, our owner, Casey Reinhardt, for winning Cupcake Wars.
It looks like it's adorable, and she is certainly adorable. But before we go in, it occurs to me that I have not seen the actual restaurants yet. Before we have dessert, we should hear about the main course.
Absolutely. So we have Dwayne's, which is our signature restaurant, our steak and seafood restaurant. We have Bella's Trattoria, which is to our right, and then we have Las Campañanas. And then we have Mission Inn Restaurant.
I've eaten there. That's fabulous.
Yes. And we also have our Presidential Lounge.
That's good enough. Let's do the cupcakes. Oh, that's fabulous. Thank you. Oh. Oliver, what would the Mission Inn be without a chapel?
You know, Joni, not much, and this is one of a few properties in the entire nation that actually has a resident chapel.
And the most beautiful stained glass I've ever seen.
Made by the original Tiffany.
Tiffany?
Absolutely priceless. What's interesting is, I know all the ladies who are watching are very familiar with Tiffany's, the jeweler. Well, the grandfather, Tiffany, designed the actual windows, the stained glass windows in our chapel.
And those are glorious. Oh my goodness. I imagine many, many happy brides must be married in the chapel and then celebrate out in the courtyard.
Too many to name. We do roughly about 300 weddings a year here.
Wow. Well, let's go in and see the chapel.
Let's go.
Oliver, this is every bit as beautiful as you said it was. And I noticed these reliefs here on the side of the saints and scholars throughout the ages. How did those come here?
Those came to us from a Belgian convent. And as you can see, they're delicately placed inside of our chapel here, placed beneath the original Tiffany stained glass windows, and we're very, very proud of them.
Beautiful. And this retablo behind us is spectacular.
It is indeed. This retablo is carved of Spanish cedar wood with an 18-karat gold overlay. So it's literally a bride's dream.
It is a bride's dream.
From the bells to the other artifacts you see here, we welcome any and all brides.
Today we have a very special getaway for you. Welcome to the Czech Republic.
The Czech Republic came to exist as an ancient kingdom in the very heart of Europe. From the onset of Czech sovereignty, Prague was the center of the country. Thanks to her enchanting beauty, she has many poetic epithets: the mother of all towns, petrified beauty, or Prague, the city of 100 spires. Prague is not unique in her magnificence. 1,000 years ago, she had to fight for her privileged status with Kutná Hora. Silver was discovered here in the 10th century, and so Kutná Hora became a candidate for the capital. Her splendid historical center is adorned by not only one, but 2 Gothic cathedrals and a monumental ossuary. Český Krumlov also played an important role in Czech history. Here, architecture, history, and nature overlap in mystical ways. Like a velvet bow, the River Vltava envelops the historical center. Telč, too, was another example of harmony between architecture and nature. The town is rightfully referred to as Czech Venice. Against the backdrop of 13th century ponds stands the vast palace complex and marvelous Renaissance Plaza. The Renaissance influence was felt deeply in the Czech kingdom. At the 16th century palace in Litomyšl, one can admire the original graphite decor as well as splendid arcade architecture. The Plague Column of the Holy Trinity stands as a legacy to darker times. It is said that God's glory celebrated through this column was so powerful that no war could damage it, and so it remains until today. The pilgrimage church of St. Jan of Nepomuk is a witness to troubled history. It was built by the architect Santini in a Baroque Gothic style and was inspired by the symbolism of the Group of Five. The 5 stars on a crown of the saint and martyr Jan of Nepomuk. The entwining of architecture and religion is also seen in Kroměříž, where the riches of the Olomouc diocese enabled the building of a beautiful Baroque palace and gardens. A symbol of religious tolerance can be found in Třebíč, an absolutely unique symbol of religious tolerance. Here, Christians and Jews lived alongside each other and supported each other in amicable coexistence. The Basilica of St. Prokop, as well as the Jewish town and cemetery, with more than 3,000 gravestones, have been preserved until today. Dreams of a life in harmony were realized by the Liechtensteins. The compound of Lednice Valtice is the result of desire to create the largest garden in the world. This compound became the largest landscaping accomplishment on the UNESCO Heritage List. Ancestral heritage can be found in the simplest of things. The picturesque 13th century village of Holaszowice is testament of this. This quaint village is remarkable mostly due to its southern Bohemian folk Baroque facades and crests. The history of the Czech Republic reaches deep into the past, but was not spared of some truly fascinating modern architecture. The functionalist Tugendhat Villa in Brno, built in 1929, inspired the principles of modern living all over the world. The Czech Republic offers many unique opportunities to witness the past, to experience the present, and to create the future. Czech Republic, a country of many faces.
Well, that's about going to do it for us. We hope you had a great time. I sure enjoyed it. When you're in Riverside, stop by. This place is amazing. It's Joni Ravenna saying I'll see you on the next Hello Paradise.
Joni's hair provided by Heads Up Hair Design, located at 460 South Palm Canyon Drive in Palm Springs. Heads Up is a full-service salon and day spa located in the heart of downtown Palm Springs. The following sponsors support public television and Hello Paradise.
At Indian Wells, tennis is just the beginning. There's abundant sunshine and all the golf and amenities you could ever desire. It's closer than you think. Indian Wells, California.
Dr. Calabria, a board-certified plastic surgeon, specializing in minimally invasive facial plastic surgery, with offices in Rancho Mirage, Beverly Hills, and Milan. Dr. Calabria supports public television.
Los Arboles Hotel, located in the Palm Springs Historic Movie Colony District. Tiled floored rooms, a courtyard pool, jacuzzi, event spaces, and El Mirasol Cocina Mexicana restaurant. LosArbolesHotel.com.
Information about desert hotels, golf, restaurants, and attractions can be found at PalmSpringsVacationDiscounts.com.